YouTube, man, it's Gabriel, just have a fan TV, man. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and all the videos, man. Let's get into today's topic. So, Ravens OTAs are officially over. I believe they ended yesterday. So we're just gonna talk about, the standouts from this OTA period. Mandatory minicamp's coming up next week, so all the Ravens will be in the building. I think they said it was about 65 out of 90 players were here today, so 25 players missing, which is not too uncommon for that last and final OTA. Guys getting ready to come back for that mandatory work. All right. So, first guy I want to talk about is a guy that's kind of been, I won't say forgotten this all season, but kind of been pushed aside because new wide receivers are coming in and, will this guy get his opportunity? But Devin Duvernay, man. Devin Duvernay's having an impressive OTA start so far. He's having a good off season. He's proven that he could be on the field more than just being a kick returner or a punt returner, things like that. He's actually playing well at wide receiver. And that doesn't surprise me, honestly. It really doesn't. I think Devin Duvernay has been underutilized by the Ravens for several years now, especially last year. We had talks about, Devin Duvernay, Devin Duvernay package, where they use him more effectively. I always remember the game last year versus the Bengals when they gave Devin Duvernay a lot of touches, featured him in the offense. He played well. He looked good. He probably should have had a touchdown. I think Lamar might have missed him on a deep ball down the field. But anyway, next week, wasn't featured in the offense at all. So he's a guy that I can see that he's probably had some frustrations the way he's been used. But as a starter right now, he's having a really good offseason. The Ravens have brought in a lot of wide receivers, but Devin Duvernay is showing that he should not be forgotten in that mix. All right. Next, speaking of wide receivers, man, newcomer, Nelson Aguilar. All right. And it's OTA, so obviously, it's just jersey shorts. They got their helmets on too, obviously, but he's playing well, right? He's going up, getting passes, catching the ball outside of his frame. I think Nelson Aguilar is around 6 foot tall, somewhere around there. But he's going up, he's making plays. I mean, the Ravens dropped a video yesterday, like 50-second, OTA highlight, But he's catching back shoulders from Lamar Jackson. He's catching jump balls. He's going on top of defense backs right now. So we're not going to hype it up too much, right? Because the defenders aren't really trying to knock the receivers out the air. These are their teammates at the end of the day, right? But Nelson Aguilar is a veteran receiver. He's a good receiver. When the Ravens first signed Aguilar, I believe that was before the draft. That was before Oday Beckham. So I was concerned about him having too big a role in the offense. But if you tell me Nelson Aguilar is your wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4, I'm all for it, right? So more like wide receiver 4, right? Everybody come back healthy, okay? I'm all for it. So I think that he could be a very, very good contributor in that role. The last time that he was asked to play a role where he wasn't the main guy was with the Raiders, and he had a really good season, as the kind of like their field stretcher, get down the field kind of guy. I believe he could do some of that things for the Ravens and also work underneath intermediate. So I'm excited for Nelson Aguilar to see what he can do in his role, and it's good to hear that he's having a good OTA to start off with. All right. Now, next guy on offense is second-year tight end Isaiah Likely. Now, Isaiah Likely has kind of been a preseason superstar as of last year. And this year, he hasn't really stopped that. So Isaiah Likely is kind of similar to me with Devin Duvernay in the sense of they got to be frustrated with how they were used last season, right? So Isaiah Likely had a great preseason, right? One of the best preseasons we've really seen from a rookie, honestly, and for the Ravens, okay? And we thought he was going to come in right away, especially in the offense like Greg Roman said, was so tight and heavy. It just didn't work out like that, right? He didn't get a lot of things going early on in the season, but came on late. And he's taking that momentum into OTAs. Apparently, he's making a couple of good grabs. Ryan Mink mentioned that he had an impressive grab in the corner of the end zone. I saw Justin Reback mention the same thing. That, he's going out there and he's making plays, right? Another one of those Ravens highlights OTAs, I think it maybe went from last week. He's catching the ball down the field. He's running away from defenders like he always kind of does. So Isaiah Likely is a guy that if we didn't have Mark Andrews, we're talking about, I believe he could have been a 800 to 1,000 yard kind of tight end, really break out this year. But, he'll still get his opportunities even when Mark Andrews here. But it just won't be that kind of opportunity, I don't think. But I think if Isaiah Likely could come in between, 500-700 yards this year, maybe that's too high. I don't know. But I think something like that could be on the card for Isaiah Likely. So he's having a good start to the OTAs. And he's standing out right now. Listen, Mark Andrews just got there, I believe, a couple days ago. So, he's probably still working himself in, filling it out. So Isaiah Likely has been here longer, and he's standing out, man. He's out there proving himself. So, all right. So that's three guys on offense, and then two guys on defense. We're gonna mix these guys together right here. It's the two Ravens young outside edge rushers, and that's Odafe Oweh and David Ojabo. Both are standing out. Both are showing off their athleticism and their speed right now. And once again, obviously, it's jersey, it's shorts, but these are two impressive physical athletes, man. They saying Odafe Oweh looks in better shape than he was last year. He's always kind of been a guy that's been in good shape, so not like he was out of shape last year or anything like that, but he looks to be in even better shape and more locked in. I remember hearing one of his interviews at the podium, and he was just talking about his focus, right? He's more focused. He knows what he needs to do. He knows his pass rush moves that he's trying to get down. Ryan Mink mentioned about Chuck Smith, the guy that we've been talking about a lot lately, the pass rush guru. And he says that he wants to give the Ravens edge rushers a signature move, right? Like the White Friend he had, his spin move, et cetera, et cetera. JJ Watt, not JJ Watt, but TJ Watt kind of has the cross chop that he does, right? What is going to be Odafe Oweh's signature move? So they're kind of working on that, building that out, and so that he can have that signature move and then work off of that. So, but Odafe, year 3, we expected a lot in year 2. It did not happen. All right, it was a little disappointing. He got to the quarterback though. He just didn't finish the play. So with him being more locked in, hopefully that comes with finishing the play as well. Now, other guy on the other side, second-year player, David Ojabo. Really, to me, it's almost like his rookie season because he really barely even played last year. But I'm excited to see what he can do. He's been showing out in OTAs. His speed, his quickness has been on full display. I keep mentioning Ryan Mink because I was just listening to the Ravens Lounge podcast, and he was saying this how quick and explosive David Ojabo is. And I've been reading the same thing from like Justin Reback and stuff like that. So I want to see what Ojabo can do on the field. He's going to be pretty much a full-time starter. Obviously, Ravens still has other guys in the mix. You got your Tyus Bowers and guys like that. But the Ravens are going to depend on a lot on these young guys in this pass rush to really get after the quarterback because there's not a lot of veterans in the room right now that have major sack experience, honestly. We're just going to be quite honest with it. So the Ravens kind of need Ojabo and Oweh to take these next steps and develop into the kind of pass rush that they have the potential to be. I think that they can do it. So Ojabo has a much more refined pass rush skill than Oweh did coming out of Michigan and Oweh from Penn State. So when Ojabo was at Michigan, he was a full-fledged first-round pick. We know what happened with the Achilles injury. That pretty much, I don't say it tanked this draft stock because he still went in the second round, but it definitely made him go on a slide. He was probably looking to go somewhere between, 12 and 20, and ended up getting picked out of the Ravens at 45. And then the big controversy was that the Ravens didn't pick, George Pickens out of Georgia. Instead, he went to the Steelers. So we're going to see, man. Ravens fans are still going to have this Ojabo versus Pickens thing and see who's better. Was it the right decision? Knowing the Ravens, knowing John Harbaugh, I have no issue with how they went about and chose Ojabo. I wanted George Pickens here too, but Ojabo is much more than a consolation prize. He was a surefire first-round edge rusher that the Ravens got in round 2. So if he can play to his potential, he can play to his previous draft stock, he's going to have a good year for the Ravens, and it's going to be a very, very fun pass rush to watch if these guys both put it together. So these are the 5 players to me that I've read, that I've seen that have really stood out. But I did want to give one coach in there, and that's offensive coordinator Todd Monken, right? So why is a coach a standout at OTAs? Because the offense that he's implementing is already making several changes to the Ravens, right? I talked about some of this before, but the Ravens are playing faster. They're getting to the line faster. They're calling plays faster, right? They're giving them Lamar Jackson more on his plate to really survey the defense and decide where to go to from there. Okay, the Ravens played too slow to have an offense where it had that much explosion. Even last year, now they got even more explosion. All right, and Todd Monken's just his personality in general makes him stand out. All right, there's videos of him, walking up with Lamar, dapping up Lamar after a good throw. It just seems that his chemistry and his energy level is just really giving off to the offense. Right? I've heard Lamar Jackson talk about it. I've heard John Harbaugh talk about it. Mark Andrews. The guys go on and on and on about Todd Monken's energy level and how much they love in this offense right now and how much that he's just a good teacher. So that's the reason to me that he's a standout, right? I mean, listen, Greg Roman was a very, very different kind of guy. You don't have to be a rah-rah guy to be a good coach. I'm not saying that's what makes Todd Monken a good coach, but it is good to see a different energy level or something different, right? when we see these kind of coordinators for the Ravens, that's usually on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I don't know how many Ravens fans here, but when you remember Rex Ryan and his attitude, when you imagine Wink Martindale and his attitude, now I kind of imagine those kind of guys, but in offensive version, and Todd Munkett, right? That energy that's going to get the guys to play with that swagger, that intensity that we've known for the Ravens side of the football. I mean, the Ravens side of football, the Ravens defensive side of the football, we're now going to see on the offensive side of the ball. So that'll be something new. I'm excited to see that. So those are my standouts that I've heard, that I've read about, and even looking at some of the highlights that the Ravens are putting out. We'll just go over them real quick. Devin Duvernay, Nelson Aguilar, Isaiah Likely on offense. On defense, the two young outside edge rushers, man, David Ojabo, Odafe Owe, and then shout out to the coach Todd Munkett, man, bringing that energy, that fire, that passion to the Ravens offense, right? The Ravens like they're having fun on offense, and hopefully that translates to points, and more importantly, hopefully that translates to wins, man. So that's my thoughts on it, man. Thank you guys for watching. You stay to this point in the video, consider hitting that subscribe button, man. More Ravens news to come. We're going to ramp it up as training camp gets going, mandatory mini camps, all that. We're going to ramp up the videos, man. So thank you guys for watching. It's Gabriel. It's on the Fan TV. I'm out.